and it says that I'm live. So hello there YouTube, it's me, Mrs. Mitchell, and a special hello to Athena Beth Black, as this is a video response to her video. I don't know why it seems so close to me. To her video that I wrote. I had to write down the questions, I kept getting tongue-tied. It's the question from her video, which is actually a contest. I'm gonna link her original video down below. Even if it wasn't with the contest, I think this is a really cool concept, because whenever I thought of it, I just had so much ideas, so I had to like go around my house and collect everything, and then come on here and have a little show and tell, I guess. But like I said, I will link the video for her contest down below. I've been watching her channel for a long time, and I love her soothing voice. It's great. If you don't check her out already, you'll have to give her a check and pop over onto her channel there and check it out. And she said that she was listening to a podcast, which I actually never heard of until this. But it's really cool. It's New World Witchery Podcast. There will be a link if you go and check out her video. There will be a link to this podcast in her video also. But anyhow, again, a special hello to Athena if you watch this. And I'm just gonna get into it and stop rambling on and on forever here. I did leave a comment in her video, and this is what I was talking about. This is totally every day. I know it looks backwards, but it says cider. I just keep this on my stove, and it's just like a tart burner. So you put the tea light in, and it heats the top, but I don't put the wax tartlets in. I use my own loose incense that I make, and I put it in here with just a little, like a couple drops of just a really light oil. And when it heats up, it smells great, and you don't have the smoke. Downstairs where I have my space set up, they can have smoke in the basement, incense and such. But I don't like to really burn a lot of incense upstairs, because I have a little guy, and got little kids running around, so smoke's not good. So that is one of the first things that I thought of. The other thing is, this is just like a little tiny, I know I'm holding it up close, but it's actually very small, a little miniature Dutch oven, I guess. You can actually put it in the oven. I assume that it's for like maybe desserts or single servings of things, but for me, it actually serves pretty much as my cauldron. I have white rice ash inside for burning the charcoal on. And the great thing about it is the fact that it has a lid, so if it gets a little out of control, you can cover it up, I just feel like it's safer with the lid. I obviously put this on, I have another, like a trivet that I put this on, but it's clearly not hot now. But that works out perfect. And this is kind of stuff that other people, I hope that other people out there, especially if you're just starting out and stuff, that you realize, you can use a lot of stuff that you get at a thrift shop, or that you already have in your kitchen. This bottle is actually a vinegar bottle that I did get at a thrift shop, and I had it in my kitchen for a long time, and I was keeping vinegar in it. And when I got a new oil and vinegar thing, I had these antique looking ones. So right now I have mint oil that I made myself in this bottle, and it's a great way to reuse it. And the mint oil, another reason that I brought this was because the mundane fact of that I got the mint that just grew in my yard, and I made this myself. You can use things that you found, and this is what made it a little difficult when I was thinking about how to go about making this video, is where do you draw the line between mundane and magical? And this goes for everybody, it's hard to draw the line when we typically as pagans think that, nature is sacred. So where do we draw the line? This mint was just growing in my yard. Did I plant it there to be for magical purposes, or did I plant it there because I just needed something that would spread? It's kind of both for me. Same thing with, I brought a smudge stick that I made from my yard. I didn't plant it, but it was already here. We have a juniper bush right along the road in my yard, so I just went over and I clipped it, and I have the juniper berries in a little jar, which I should have brought over. And things like this that are very, I guess, mundane. Like I brought one example of maybe I seem a little biased in this if I consider myself more like a kitchen witch, so maybe this stuff is obvious. But here's just sage that I grew in my yard that I use in my kitchen, and I also use for my workings and for incense and for anything. Same thing with this is the one from my kitchen. I just took some out of it for downstairs for myself at my space. But this is pink Himalayan salt, and I use this in my cooking. So I'm not really sure if that counts. I have a couple other ideas of things here too, but just like I felt like everything that I use, because like I guess the polite way of putting it is that I'm frugal. But I tend to reuse things, try to be, conscious of waste and all that, and that sort of thing. So a lot of these things I've had for a long time, or I have a dual purpose for, or even like this, repurposing it, to make it more useful for myself. And I'm sure so many of us do this. Here's another example. This is definitely just like a candle holder that I got like in a box of free stuff. But inside of it, I know it's really hard to see, I have an incense blend. Maybe I can take a little out and show you. That this, if you, I don't know if anybody that's watching this likes watching the Lady Grave Dancers videos. But they're just great. But she has a video about bottling the springtime, I think it is. It's about like and she saves things from her yard to make incense. And I did the same thing. I have, see if I can get a little close up here for you so that you can maybe see. There's like leaves. There's rose petals from my rose bush from my yard. There's petals from the sunflower seeds, from the from the sunflower petals. There's pieces of vine, that salt that I was talking of, things that things that I kind of foraged, I suppose, around my yard that were at my fingertips. And that felt right to me for the purpose that I was making this incense blend for. And the fact that it's typically thought of as mundane things that most of us like to save and put in little jars, and we think it's special. And I hope nobody thinks that that's a diss, obviously. No, I do the same thing. One of the most powerful things, though, I know, I feel like it's taking me forever to get to like the main meat of this, besides me just rambling. One of the most powerful things that I actually found this just when I was able to just go through some people's stuff that was moving and everything. And it says 1897, and it's a silver dollar. But I've used this as a focal point in workings. I've taken this and burned candles on top of it. If you use just a votive candle, or a pillar candle, if you put it directly onto the coin, what I found and what I used in many different ways, I'm not going to get into too much details about my workings, but you get an imprint. I mean, granted it's backwards, but you get an imprint in the wax. And I would do both sides. An imprint from the wax from the candle that you melted on top of it when you peel it off. And then I would use that in other workings. And these candles, obviously before, the candle would be dressed and blessed and the whole nine. And then you have the imprint of the silver dollar. I don't know. It's very powerful to me. But yeah, then I don't know. And like I said, I don't want to get too much into it. And then another thing that I'm sure other people do like this is just a straight up Altoids tin. And I had this old, it's the answer deck in here. This old, and it's backwards still. Jeez, and it's still backwards. Anyhow, this is just a little tiny mini deck that I had from Barnes & Noble, and I took out the significator cards because I didn't really like it because it like was very narrow. It was like, oh, light-haired woman, dark-haired woman. So they just weren't useful in how I was using the deck. I'll just show you a few of these. Obviously, these are not mundane. Well, I guess kind of, but these are not really along with it. But I had to show it at least just because I'm holding it, talking about it. Had to take it out. They're very old. But cute. But anyhow, that's not the point of what I'm trying to say at all. But yeah, an Altoids tin, you know, things like this. This, you know, we have like our, you know, in my altar, I like to have a representation of all of the elements. So this is just a seashell. And this is a rock that I found on a field trip when I was a kid at like a mica quarry or something. It's usually black mica that you found, so I thought it felt like this was special, and I've held on to it for years and years and years. I love it. And this is something else that is free, and unless you're a vegetarian, no offense to anybody, it's just a bone, okay? But yeah, got this out of my dinner the other night. I'm gonna, you know, save it, dry it out, and I have some purposes that I want to use this for. Quite a few different things I can think of. Yeah, and there's only one more thing that I have really, and that's just the simple bell that I've had. It's just like vintage, but I love the sound of it. I had to fix it even, but I think it's beautiful. I don't think that this had any kind of magical purposes when it was made, but we all know it's all about intent, and I think that's what the moral of all this really is. It's all about our intent. And I'm sorry that I rambled on for so long with this. I hope that that made any sense, and I hope that other people make video responses to this, because I would really love to watch them and love to see like other people's ideas and other people's little things that they collect off their shelf. And yeah, I think that would be really fun, and I hope that I don't know, maybe if we create like a hashtag to go along with this or something along these lines, I think that would be really fun. If anybody thinks that's a good idea, totally like put a comment or try to make one yourself or something like that. I think that would be really fun for everybody in this awesome YouTube community that we have. But yeah, so if you made it this long of listening to me ramble on forever, then totally like click subscribe or like give me a comment and stuff, because I want to watch everybody else's videos on this too. I think it's really fun, and honestly I just love watching other people's videos. I'm just a YouTube junkie. So yeah, I hope that I made at least a couple points there, and good luck to everybody else that put a comment on Athena's video for the contest. And like I said, I'm going to put her link down below. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say, if I can just stop talking now. All right, enjoy everybody.